should Alabama be justifiably mad because they seem to be kind of babies about the situation? They lost 3 games. What are they doing?
No, Alabama does not get any, I think something that stuck with me yesterday, and Nick Saban said this, and then Greg Byrne, Alabama's AD, came out and said this, and they were like, this whole situation, it's going to make us we don't know if we're going to schedule tough non-conference games anymore. Yeah. All right, sure, get the argument. Alabama didn't lose in the non-conference. Alabama played Mercer 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Beating the literal shit out of Wisconsin didn't seem to matter when Oklahoma destroyed your season. When you lost 24-3 to a terrible Oklahoma team. The Alabama reaction just feels very much of this is the first time someone's told the rich kid no. And you're just like, what do you mean? We played Wisconsin in the offseason. The whole thing is ridiculous. Don't lose. Don't lose to Vanderbilt. Don't lose to Oklahoma. Lose to Georgia. Okay, that's fine, but you didn't do that. It's just Alabama, the whole reaction is just very hey, man, you lost to Oklahoma at Oklahoma. Let's just say you didn't lose to Vanderbilt. That's still pretty much a disqualifying loss. That's how bad that loss is. The whole thing, they're just being annoying. I think SMU, the way they lost in the ACC championship game with, hey, you're losing by 3 touchdowns, you come back, you lose to a 56-yard game-winning field goal. You win 11-1 throughout the season. I understand you didn't play anybody tough, but it wasn't. The entire reaction is just very Alabama in the sense that they're just not used to this, and now they're playing in the ReliaQuest Bowl.
Lucy or Goosey, Billy, thank you for leading me here. South Carolina has a bigger gripe than Alabama.
I would say Lucy, especially with Clemson winning the ACC. So now South Carolina, and I know Alabama also does have a win over Georgia, but South Carolina has been playing very good football lately. They've been playing much better football than Alabama has been playing. I still think that the way things played out, I look at the bracket and I think what people kind of misunderstand about the college football playoff, which I hate to ever give that selection committee any sort of praise or grace or whatever. They do say it's the 12 best teams, but that's obviously not the case because you have, conference champions get an automatic bid and whatnot. It's the 12 most deserving teams. And South Carolina did have a bunch of early losses in the season, and sometimes the SEC, that doesn't play into the way you want it. They do deserve to be there more than Alabama, especially with the way that South Carolina finished the season. I don't know if you could say there's a team in the country playing better right now than they are, but it's tough. Don't get blown out to Ole Miss. It's easy to look back and just say, hey, don't lose like that.
Right. They beat Clemson, though.
They beat Clemson. They beat Clemson at Clemson in a rivalry game, which makes it tougher.
Yes.
But, I think that the selection committee watched that ACC championship game and was like, this sucks.
Right.
We did not want to have to deal with this. This is not a problem we wanted. But I think that if SMU had won, Alabama would have been in the field and not South Carolina, because Alabama does have a head-to-head win over South Carolina. I do think if Alabama and South Carolina played right now, that I would feel pretty comfortable with South Carolina winning that game.